Ladies and gentlemen, let's Gamer Tedacom video. Let's discuss Far Cry 4 on Xbox One versus PlayStation 4. This will be followed up quite soon with a full graphics analysis, but for now we're going to be taking a look at the preview of our current findings. As many of you are probably aware, recently the schedule has been absolutely swamped with large game releases. Obviously we've had Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, we've got Dragon Age and so on, so a lot of our time has been taken up trying to cover everything and get all of the raw footage. But I want to put something up just so that you're all aware of what we're thinking so far. You know, is this a disaster, basically? And the answer is no. So far, on both the PS4 and the Xbox One, the game is looking quite beautiful. I have my sneaking suspicions that the Xbox One version is running at a lower resolution than the PS4, and I'll tell you why. Because when you look at certain objects, particularly say straight lines or askew lines, close up in particular, but you'll notice that they look a little bit more jaggy. And I don't think it's anti-aliasing issues. I personally believe it is running at a lower resolution. I've had a look around the internet. There are a couple of other websites that are kind of reporting the same thing, Beyond 3D for example. And so I personally believe that's what it is, but I'm going to be doing a little bit more checking over the next few days. I'm going to be basically doing some pixel counting, but it does look like it's around 1400 to maybe 1440 by 1080 most likely. I believe the PS4 version is running natively at 1080p. Now, you are going to notice some colour variance on the two games, and most of this, to be honest, is down to the fact that it's an open world at the end of the day. Using the menus, we did pretty much calibrate the title to have exactly the same levels of gamma, but obviously this is open world, so at the end of the day, if there's, say, cloud cover, or you happen to visit a couple of hours later in world, you know, later in the game, you will get those shadows which can make scenes look a little different. But we are still getting all of the footage, of course, and we'll revisit some locations. We have noticed that there are a couple of key differences, which does take a little bit of time, and this is akin to GTA. I want to discuss the frame rate because of obviously the abysmal performance of Assassin's Creed. I think it's a good option to just kind of go through that and to reassure you that so far it does not have Assassin's Creed Unity's issues. For the most part, FC4 plays really well on both platforms. Have noticed some frame rate drops in our early analysis across both platforms, but it does adhere for the most part to the 30 FPS mark. You will of course notice them primarily when there's a hell of a lot of detail on screen, a lot of explosions and smoke particles and characters running around, that type of thing. But considering just what the game's engine is actually rendering, it's pretty impressive. There are a few issues in regards to pop-up, but it's primarily long distances. You will notice it occasionally close up, but it's certainly not too bad at all. And this is across both versions. There's relative parity in terms of the way pop-up and textures and so on look. I will say that the water, particularly at a distance, can look a little flat. It doesn't look bad. It looks pretty impressive, but at a distance in particular, when you're looking through, say, your camera, you'll notice that it can just look just a little bit too flat to be realistic. But for the most part, the game world does look really bloody impressive. I have to say that Ubisoft in this title have done a really good job, and we don't deserve to be mad at them for this one. Far Cry 4 looks really impressive. We'll be covering the PC version as well over the next couple of days, but obviously we've just been absolutely swamped recently, so trying to cover the console, then moving on to the PC. But our early impressions of the PC build are pretty favourable. It looks pretty damn impressive as well. It does look better than next generation consoles, naturally, just because you've got those extra additional graphical options. But even the Xbox One and PS4, this is a title, many have said that, you know, Far Cry 4, it's kind of almost an expansion pack to Far Cry 3, and in many ways you can definitely tell that this is kind of an addition rather than an entire new game. It's an evolution of the idea, but the graphics alone, the fidelity, the way that you interact with the world, it's a step beyond what was possible in previous generation consoles, and you're definitely going to think to yourself, well, hey, This game looks amazing, and when I first played it on the Xbox One, because we got the Xbox One version a day earlier just because of a postman decided to post it earlier or whatever reason through the letterbox, and I thought to myself, holy crap, this looks really impressive. I was actually genuinely jaw dropped a couple of areas. It just looks really beautiful, particularly when you're going into the snow and you can see like the snow reflecting into the stream, and then the stream's just babbling slowly past, and it looks really amazing. And even things such as throwing a hunk of meat and attracting mountain lions at the same time to pounce on your enemies while you sneak around and stab another one. It's awesome. So I would highly recommend it so far, but do definitely check out the graphic analysis, which of course will be coming soon, as well as the frame rate and the full article over the next couple of days. With that said, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. See you soon. Take care. Bye for now, my friends.